Welcome back, troops. Let's tab 59. So I want to chat today about the transition from being a full corporal, 2 stripes, up to a sergeant, 3 stripes, within the British Army, within the infantry. I want to talk about the course you need to do from within a rifle platoon and what's expected, what's life like transitioning from that, being a corporal, into the sergeant, the warrant officers and sergeants mess. A little bit about that. Now, you don't have to do the course I'm talking about, even in the infantry. It really is if you're going up through the rifle platoon route. If you're anti-tank platoon, mortar platoon, support company, you may not have to do the same course I'm going to talk about, which is the platoon sergeant's battle course. Now, in the corps in the British Army, the Tank Corps, Royal Logistics Corps, Royal Artillery, they have their own courses designed specifically for them. So it's quite different. So there you are then, you're a full corporal, section commander for a rifle section in a rifle platoon in the British Infantry. You're probably going to be anywhere from sort of 26 years old up to your maybe early 30s. That's about the time when you do the course, and you're going to go away to the infantry training centre in Brecon, South Wales. Tough terrain. There's a battle school there, Derring Lines is the name of the barracks. You're going to go there for 8 weeks to learn how to administrate and run a platoon. You're going to learn how to be a platoon sergeant in a rifle platoon. You'll also learn while you're there on the course how to be a platoon commander, because you're only 1 bullet away from that job. You're only 1 bullet away from running the platoon. Platoon commander's the leader, but the platoon sergeant's the daddy of the platoon. He's the most experienced soldier in the platoon, or he should be. And he's going to run it, run all the administration for it. So, the course down at Brecon is probably outside of Special Forces, outside of the Parachute Regiment course, outside of that, Platoon Sergeant's battle course, and indeed the Platoon Commander's battle course as well for officers, and the one you do before Platoon Sergeants, which is Section Commander's battle course. Those courses are probably the toughest courses you'll do in the infantry. You can argue that, but it's a tough course. And a lot of people fail. A lot of people go there unprepared, or they pick up a bad injury during the course and you get RTU'd. It's not an easy course. If you pass the course, you get a pass or a fail, or you used to. You've got to remember, I'm talking back in my day now. Things may have changed. I can't comment on how it's exactly run today, but I'm pretty sure it's along the same lines. So you get a pass, a fail. You can get to the end of the course and fail it. You can complete the course and fail it. Or you get a distinction, or you used to get what they called a distinctive pass, a distinction pass. If you've got a distinction pass, the chances are you're really going to fly. To get that distinction, I never got one on my course, but if you get a distinction, you could well go on to become an instructor at a later date at either a Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst, where you're training officers, or you could come back to Brecon as a colour sergeant instructor. Both very prestigious posts, so a distinction is a rare thing, and you get a lot of credibility for that. You get a lot of credibility just to pass the course, to be honest. So as I say, it's a tough course. You're going to learn all about administrating the platoon and how the tactics work of that dismounted close combat infantry. We're not talking about any other course, it's dismounted close combat. So if you're lucky enough to get on the course in the first place, and then you're lucky enough to get through the course and pass it, the chances are at the end, when you get back to battalion, you'll get promoted to substantive sergeant. Now when you go on the course, you're a corporal. However, to be on the course, they give you the local rank while you're there of sergeant. So all the students on the course are holding the rank of sergeant. but actually it's just a local rank, so not getting paid for it. And once they finish the course, unless they've already got sergeant somehow, they go back to revert back to being a corporal until they get promoted. In my case, we needed a platoon sergeant, and I got offered platoon sergeant in battalion, got platoon sergeant, but I couldn't get on. There wasn't a place for me to get on the course for 18 months. So for the first 18 months, I was just an acting sergeant, still getting paid as a corporal. My pay slip still said corporal on it, but I had the rank, I wore the rank of sergeant, and I was a platoon sergeant, but I hadn't done the course. So I had the added pressure really, because I'd been a platoon sergeant for 18 months, went away on the course, and I knew if I failed that or got RTU'd through an injury, not only could be a huge embarrassment coming back, but the chances were I was going to revert back to being a corporal after holding the rank of sergeant and having the privileges that go with that for 18 months. There's quite a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pressure on the course anyway. There's nothing worse. You don't want to go back to battalion with a fail. Obviously, like I say, some good lads on there I've seen have done the course and got an injury. It's no fault of their own, and they've been RTU'd. In that case, if it's an injury that can be repaired, it's not a permanent injury, you'll probably get a chance to go back. On arrival at Derring Lines, a number of what they call travelling reserves will go along with you. Normally you don't know anyone else on the course, because you're only getting a couple of blokes from each battalion getting a slot on that course. So you have to bond quite quickly. But you've got these travelling reserves come along with you, maybe 2, 3, 4. And on the first day of the course, proper, when you do your fitness test, we did an ICFT, we did a BFT, you fail any of those on day 1, or even on day 2, you get RTU'd. The travelling reserves are still there. They're there to take your place. If you get binned, or you get an injury or whatever, they can keep the numbers up to strength on the course to start the course by using 1 or 2 of the travelling reserves. That's how that works. So you do your course and you're successful. You come back to battalion with a pass and you get promoted to substantive sergeant. You're now a proper platoon sergeant in a rifle platoon. What's the transition like then from being a corporal and going across to the warrant officers and sergeants mess? So for those of you who don't know, I'll just explain slightly. Lance corporals and corporals are referred to as JNCOs, Junior Non-Commissioned Officers. When you get the rank of sergeant and you go up to colour sergeant, those 2 ranks are senior NCOs, Senior Non-Commissioned Officers. Then the next up from that is the warrant officers, Warrant Officer Class 2 and Warrant Officer Class 1. So the mess that they formally used to socialise in is called the Warrant Officers and Sergeants Mess. And it's probably one of the most exclusive clubs you can join, because you can join the Masons, you can join all sorts of social clubs in Civvy Street, but to be a member of the Warrant Officers and Sergeants Mess, the only way you're going to become a member of that is to be a sergeant with the rank of sergeant in the British Army. So nobody can just join it. It's very, very exclusive, but it's a bit of a life change, it's a bit of a lifestyle change. And let me chat about that for a moment. When you first go into the sergeant's mess as a newly promoted sergeant, when you have a formal mess dinner night, it's like a black tie event in Civvy Street, you'd call it a black tie event, a big sit-down posh dinner. You wear what we called mess dress, number 10 dress. Now, every regiment and every corps has got a different, slightly different format of the uniform. We like to be different in the British Army, no one wears the same. So whatever regiment you're in, you would wear that mess dress. It's a black tie event, and your first time in there, you'll be Mr. Vice, what they call Mr. Vice. And if you imagine the table set up, you've got a big long top table, and in the centre of the top table, you've got the regimental sergeant major sat there. Next to him will be his right-hand man, the PMC, another sergeant major, and all the sergeant majors, the RQMS, All the W2s, all the sergeant majors will sit on that top table. Then you'll have 2 or possibly 3 legs running off that top table down the room, down the mess dining room. And that's the legs of the tables. And at the top of those, near the top table, will be maybe an overspill from the top table, might be a W2 there. There's normally all your colour sergeants, attached personnel, staff sergeants. And as it goes down in seniority. And right at the end of one of those legs, sat on the end, will be the newest sergeant. The last one to join the mess, if you like. And he'll be known as Mr. Vice. And he has certain duties to carry out in a formal mess dinner night. And he'll continue to do Mr. Vice on dinner nights until another sergeant gets promoted and comes into the mess. And he'll take over the duties of Mr. Vice. That's a whole different story. Now, when you obtain the rank of sergeant and you enter the sergeant's mess, as I say, you wear mess dress, black tie, a DJ, but military style. You had to purchase that yourself. You got no financial assistance to buy that mess dress. I believe it's changed now. I believe it's been changed for a number of years because they expect you to wear it, and you must wear it, and they expect you to pay for it. Back in my day, I think I got promoted to sergeant around 1990, 89, 90, no, must have been 1990, something like that. 1991 maybe. Very early in the 90s I got promoted. And I paid just over £400 for my mess dress, which I got no assistance with. That's out of my own pocket. Now here's the transition point that's quite interesting. When you get to full corporal, that's quite a pay jump. From being a lance corporal, 1 stripe, to getting that 2nd stripe is quite a good pay jump. When you go from full, when you used to, I don't know what it's like now, when you used to go from full corporal up to sergeant, the pay increase wasn't that much. And on top of that, so it's not a big pay jump, but on top of that you had more responsibility, you had to buy your mess dress, and you got quite a hefty mess bill. So every month in the warrant officer sergeant's mess, you have to pay a mess bill. And the mess bill is broken down. You get a little bill every month that you pay, and it's broken down what that money, where your money's going. And it does depend on your mess and how well off your mess is, etc. But so you're going to get a mess bill, could be quite hefty, and you've got to buy your mess dress, and you've only had a slight pay increase. So financially, you might not be that much better off, but your quality of life does improve. You're taken a lot more seriously, for instance. The officers, the commissioned officers above you, will look at sergeants upwards as middle management maybe, and you'll be treated with a lot more respect. You'll be taken a lot more serious because now you're an experienced manager, if you like. That's how I looked at it anyway. I looked at the lance corporals and the corporals more like supervisors. I'm trying to translate this to civvies, if you like. And then your senior NCOs and warrant officers are more like middle management. So you're not financially better off, but there's also, going into the warrant officer and sergeant's mess, there's also a lot of rules that you have to adhere to. And that's just day to day, and when you go to mess functions, formal mess functions. So first of all, going into the sergeant's mess, into the bar for a drink. Sergeant's mess bar is open pretty much every night of the week, whether you live in the mess or whether you're a married soldier coming in for a drink at one evening. The way you have to dress and conduct yourself is totally different to the NAFI. The NAFI being the OR's bar, where everyone goes in as a Ginganguli. So what's expected of you? Well, as I say, dress. Jeans, big no-no. There's no way you can go walking in there, well, most sergeants' messes anyway, with a pair of jeans on. I'd say that's probably across the board with all the sergeants' messes I've ever attended to. Hello there. So no denim, no jeans, no training shoes, no t-shirts. So when you go in the sergeant's mess, even if you're going for a beer on a Tuesday night or whatever, It's expected that you're wearing a pair of shoes, a pair of trousers, and minimum of a shirt with a collar on it. You may get away during the week. Again, each sergeant, warrant officer sergeant's mess has its own set of rules. And you might get away with a polo shirt, maybe in the summer or whatever. But you're expected to be clean, smart and dressed. You can't go walking into the sergeant's mess in uniform covered in cam cream. You may get away for the first hour in the evening to be still in uniform, or if you're on duty, but you can't go in there drinking normally in uniform. Those days were certainly gone when I was in. You shouldn't be in there drinking in uniform. And this goes for the dining hall as well, the sergeant's mess. If you're living in sergeant's mess member and you're going down for your breakfast, obviously you'll be in uniform. The weekend, it's a little bit more relaxed. You might be off duty, obviously, on the weekend. You go down for your brunch, you could probably get away with just a pair of jeans, not sports kit. You won't go in sports kit, that's out the window as well. There's certain mess rules. Now, it's a bit of a grey area because, like I say, each sergeant, each warrant officer and sergeant's mess will have their own set of rules that's laid down, and they're the ones you've got to stick to. You're expected to read those and adhere to them. If you don't adhere to those rules, you'll be in front of the RSM, the Regimental Sergeant Major. Guarantee that. Somebody, a senior mess member in there, will pull you up, even if you're out socialising in the bar. If you're not dressed correctly, the senior mess member at present will come across and have a word with you, and you'll be told to do one and sort your kit out. If you persist doing it, you will end up in front of the RSM. Likewise, when you have a formal mess function, a ladies' dinner night, dining somebody out maybe, or the Christmas ball, that's normally in mess dress. But any of those formal functions, whether you're in mess dress or whether you're in a lounge suit, your behaviour is looked at in the mess. If you get hammered and start causing hassle, getting out of order, you're going to be in front of the RSM. You're going to get extra duties, all sorts could happen to you. You could even get a ban from the mess. I've seen that before. I've seen Sergeant Majors, W2s, get banned from the mess for 3 months because of their behaviour. So there's a certain set of standards that's totally different between being a corporal and being a sergeant in the sergeant's mess, or above, colour sergeant, warrant officer, whatever. So that's just a little bit about the transition and what's expected of you. The course you've got to do, as I say, in a rifle platoon. If you're in a different platoon, anti-tanks, mortars, if you're in a corps, one of the other regiments in the British Army, you have a different course to do. But I'm talking about the rifle platoon. Now, if you haven't looked at, if you're not sure about the platoon sergeant's battle course, I think it's on YouTube. If it is, I'll put a link in the description. There was a program made back in, a series made back in, a TV series made back in 99, I believe, called Battle Stripes. And it follows a course of soldiers going through platoon sergeant's battle course down in Brecon in South Wales. If I can find the link, I'll stick it in the description. If not, you might have to just Google it. But if you're interested in seeing what they go through to become a rifle platoon sergeant, have a look at it. It's very interesting. It's a little bit dated, obviously, 25 years ago, but I don't think much has changed. So, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, why not? No, please consider it. I'm not saying do it, I'm saying consider it. It's free and it helps me grow the channel. Thank you for your support, everybody. Have a great weekend. It's Saturday now. Have a great weekend. Until next time, safe. It's so cold, my lips aren't working. Stay safe and remember, let's tab.